Greetings, loving beings. I wanted to come back and continue trying the Believe Beauty now that I have more available. As I've mentioned, I started off with Shell, the lightest color, and yesterday I tried Linen. I felt like it was a little bit too dark. It just felt, I mean, maybe for the summer it's okay, not that I get much sun. But today I'm trying Porcelain, and it seemed a little yellow initially, but I felt like it eventually, once it was blended in, from my memory, I feel like I liked it better than yesterday's. But I feel like on the camera, it does look a little bit yellow, but is it because I'm using a different background? It just seems like when you have skin like this, you can clearly see there's pink, but then I think there are also kind of like yellow elements. And so you can go neutral with it. You can go towards the pink, you can go towards the yellow. It's a lot about blending, but it kind of just feels like whichever way it goes, it can kind of work most of the time. Sometimes it does, I think, look too dark. But today, I guess I'm not, well, now that I'm focusing on it, I guess I am a bit more aware of the dark circles. So I'm going to use, this is a Tarte concealer brush. So I'm going to use this, and then I'm going to use this powder today instead of the Believe Golden Pearl, which, well, actually, it might be worth setting it with this. I did bring, though, I keep wanting to call it Almay, but the Coty Airspun. And I have a very well used powder puff that's covered in powder, but then I found my freshly washed one. And I know I have other ones. There's a box that I was looking for. I must have moved it somewhere. So let's see how this concealer does today. I'm wondering if, because the foundation is a bit darker, if this will give a better brightening effect. I haven't powdered anything, so I do see the creasing of the foundation on the eyelid. I can just, again, I guess I can see a little bit more brightening now that the foundation is a bit darker, but I just feel like part of it maybe shadows. Sometimes when it itches, you could just do this because you're gonna have to reblend anyway. I guess I could try it over a blemish and see how does that do? In which case, it'd be better for it to match the foundation and not be brightening, but makes me want to put it on the other side as well. I don't know. I just don't. Where is this made again? Germany. So just like the foundation. I just don't really understand what the deal is. It almost feels like at times the foundation, just putting more foundation would be better coverage. I mean, I don't have any plans to go anywhere that I can think of, so I could try just building this up. I feel like the foundation builds more than this does. But again, you don't want to mix up too much. You don't want to mistake shadows for dark circles. Like that's a shadow, that's not. So that extra layer, I am liking it more and I feel like I'm seeing it more. And while I have it the way I want it, I think I'm gonna go in with the powder that they finally made in a light enough shade for moi. It's collecting around the thread, so I'm gonna brush it into the lid, which gives me more than enough to work with. Now these bristles are a little stiff. I don't know if that's just because there's, does it need more rinsing after being washed? I don't know. I feel like if I go in with the Coty powder and then the other setting powder, it won't be like a controlled study with this shade. That would have to be done like on Shell, which I'm already quite used to. I guess it makes sense to try this. So today's main difference is I've set it with the much lighter powder. So I am going to take the powder puff that has powder on it, go into this, load it up. That is definitely loaded. See how this goes. I do love the powder puff. I can almost feel it, like it's like a cooling sensation. Now, wow, that definitely put it on very thick. And now I feel like I'm gonna have to blend it out because it is so pronounced. I guess I'll use the Believe powder brush, go back into the powder puff to try to pick some up. Oh, this is still wet a little bit from washing it, I'm just realizing. But now I feel like I've got a dog mask over here because it's so thick. So now I'm going back into it, tapping it off. This is so dark. I mean, basically, it might as well be a bronzer, I think. On the other hand, if I can get that blended enough, at least it leaves the eyes lighter, but this doesn't look right to me at all. And it's now so much darker than it was yesterday. Like, what is the deal? They just only make it for mid-tone ranges. This, I mean, I don't even think I would go out in public like this. Like, is it? I think it's somewhat acceptable on the camera, but it's like I'm trying. It's like when I've been in character and played someone who looked very different than me. That's a lot. This is the powder brush I have for more regular powder. I'm almost wondering. So normally I pat in the powder and then I may dust it off, but I feel like here I'm scrubbing. Now that this has occurred, I think I am going to go in. Oh, I'm sorry, it's such a mess. I'm going to go in with the Coty and see if, again, I would normally use the powder puff and just let that have it soak in, but I'm hoping this will lighten it a bit and not scrape it off my face. This is not the way I would normally get powder in, but this is a unique situation. You know, I think I've made it work to the point where maybe I would go in public like this. I have to check it under brighter lights, but it's getting late enough. Sunlight wouldn't be such a problem. And now I've got powder on the desk. This is why I normally have a towel down in my makeup area. But I'm going to try bronzer, Body Shop. I kind of had gotten away from using bronzer for years. Body Shop brush, very soft. And I've recently kind of brought it back now that I've gone back into adding more things in. But I mean, it really does not look, it's kind of golden. To me, I don't really see much. Like, that's on the finger. It's kind of more golden than anything, but I guess that works. You know, they used to say the high points of the face. Allie, I think, does it this way, but last I knew, the high points of the face were kind of where you end up putting a highlighter, but things are done differently these days. You know, some people, I think one of the artists does this. I recently saw, so I like to just try new things, but I don't even know if I'm seeing much of a difference now that the dark powder is on. So yesterday, tried this. It says Born to Blush Rosy Glow. It looks pink here, but the funny thing is the other versions of the exact same color were very light, looking like a highlighter. So all right, so I've got this cheek brush from Believe. I'm gonna try this again. Now that this is washed, actually it did not spread out. It's still on the narrower side. Load this up. Well, you can certainly see it on camera, which is interesting. I almost wonder if the reason it's picking up on camera is because of the reflectiveness and less the actual pigment. It's hard to tell. To me, it still isn't quite blushy enough. Like yesterday, I kind of felt like the eyes had gotten muddy and the blush was just meh. So I just got this from TJ Maxx. I liked the color. It reminded me of the ColourPop one that was like more, almost like a lavender. I think it was called Bloom, and it discontinued. Hopefully they'll bring it back. But what I didn't know, I thought this was totally a powder. It's extremely squishy, just like, and it's like some kind of cream, which I'm not used to using. Very much like this. In fact, let me test the two textures. It's like wet clay. I would say the eyeshadow is more wet feeling, but, and I don't know if leaving it out is going to make it dry out or not. This is definitely more clay-like doughy clay. So I have this Body Shop brush that I'd gotten for a great deal, and it's very stippling friendly. So what I tried yesterday, not yesterday, the other day, because I feel like you can't really sweep it. I mean, maybe I did. I might have swept it a bit in here, but I wouldn't want to sweep it onto the cheeks. I stippled it onto the cheeks. I guess you could try making circles, tapping it. I mean, when you tap it, you can see the texture, or maybe the camera can't, but I can. You know, the texture of the bristles definitely gets in there. We also in theater used to use a stippling sponge. I haven't really seen that outside of that. But here we go. I was surprised, at least the other day, the color did show up. And it makes me wonder if it kind of, well, I don't really know why people use different textures of blush in the everyday world. With theater, I kind of do know more. But also, this could lend itself to putting the blush on while you haven't set it yet. I have set it. I think it can still work. But I know some people like to put powder over because then it looks like the blush is coming from underneath. Now, this is so light that, like, I mean, yeah, I'm light and this is light, but I just don't know if I need to keep building more or what exactly the deal is. It actually looks more pronounced on camera than it does in real life. Again, I'm wondering, is that because it's a cream and the glowiness is happening? It's not that glowy. Try a bit on the nose. What I may do now is go back in with the Believe brush and this and see about like setting the cream with this. And will this make it pop out more? I think maybe yes. Yes, I think I'm starting to like this color now. Now, is it? It's getting closer. I don't really mind feeling makeup, but I wonder, am I going to feel it more here? I think again, because I've got pretty big cheeks, my blush ends up wider than other people and then kind of blend it out. And I don't, do as much contouring even with the bronzer. I think if I hadn't, I mean, to me, it's looking a little funny on camera, but I think if it was just time to film and be done, it might look a bit more normal. It's funny how in different lighting, like in the magnification mirror, it looks closer to how it looks on the screen. And now that I've put this over it, now I can see the shimmer. But in real life, I'm not seeing a ton. And again, different lighting is so different. There's times where I'm at the temple and I'm like, this lighting is very different. And I feel like I've already gotten my fill of the eyeshadow from Believe Beauty at the moment, and I wanted to try pastel today. So I'm kind of mixing and matching things. I guess I will now go for the highlighter. Did I bring my highlighting brush? No. So I haven't used this one yet. It's perfect time for it. Kind of fun. But it came as a set, and I will admit it's a little bit impractical because how are you going to store this? It's so different. I think I don't know if they label it as a cheek brush or a blush brush, but today's going to be a highlighting brush. So I'm going to start with the more tan color that's less pronounced. These bristles are super soft. I almost want this all over just because, well, I do have that other setting powder that, is meant to be shimmery, but I feel like it doesn't show up. It just makes it dark. Now the middle shade, but it's still picking up some of the bottom one. These are so soft. It's fun to use this for my first time. It kind of reminds me a little bit of a flamingo, a little bit of like Alice in Wonderland, I think. And now the latest one that really shows up. I'm not sure if it's exactly even. Shows up more on camera than in real life. Getting there. Somehow the whole face looks lighter to me now. What I did enjoy doing yesterday, I think it was the lightest shade I put under my eye, and it seemed to go okay. Like I thought it would be too bright, but I feel like it worked. I feel like there's a little bit of creasing going on, but I put a lot of concealer. And these bristles are so soft. Like, I think softer than the other ones that are pretty soft. I do love me some glowiness. Okay, highlighter, blush. Oh, I want to try the eyeliners again. We've got the purple that's more kind of cranberry, and then the Olivia green. And actually, the look I want to do today, it's one of the few that I hadn't seen yet from the Natasha Denona palette. And to me, the colors kind of seemed so similar to each other, and it didn't appeal to me as much, but I think I'm going to start with this. Wait, do I want to do... I do want to try this. This is, again, the Locket Primer made in Taiwan. And again, I'm not really used to using these, so like I think you just kind of dump it onto the eyelid and then spread it out with a finger, and it is picking up foundation underneath. And actually, I don't think I've used the Natasha palette with the primer yet. So spread it out. And I'm sure this is going to be disturbing some of the foundation and concealer that's already there, but once you let it dry, it's, I guess, ready to go. I think some people powder this, but again, I just don't have a ton of experience with modern day eyeshadow primers. So while that's drying, we'll get into the eyeliner. For now, don't know what I want to do about the wing. I'm just going to line just by the eyes. Now, I don't know how much the primer got near the lash line. I didn't think it was much, but this is going on pretty smoothly. Give it a little wing. And as I recall, when I put this on my hand yesterday, it will totally smudge right away, but then later, when it was done, it did not. And so yesterday I did the opposite. I did the mauve on top, green on the bottom. Today I want to try the mauve on the bottom. I'm not much of a waterline liner person, but for the video, I'm okay with trying it. I'm again seeing creasing under the eye. And not only am I getting the waterline, I'm kind of getting in the actual lash line because I don't want to get too close to the eye. So at least doing this gets you kind of in the actual lash line. And a lot of times the waterline is going to transfer into the lash line anyway, which I think can be a good thing. Since I'm getting some creasing and that medium brush for concealer, I don't know if I should just like buff this a bit underneath, or if it's hopeless or what. It's collecting like right in the area that I'll probably end up putting eyeshadow anyway. To me, this looks pretty weird with just the eyeliner. But now, as this is still drying, it's time to look up what exactly are we doing with the Natasha. I found what I was looking for, the right video, but the thing is, the one on her face, no, the one on her Instagram is ever so slightly different from the one on her YouTube. Same model, very same look, difference of like purple here and lack of like the pink stuff under here, but the rest is very similar. And I'm trying to find my last, oh, there it is, brush. I've washed these and I'm going to try these first. I thought I paused it, but it's still playing. So the first color is one of the blues. I can't remember if it's blue, bubble, or airy. Oh no, it's brisk. I haven't used that one yet, or at least not much. So she's using a brush that's similar to this, putting it in the inner corner. Let us try this. Okay, it is showing up. The model has a lot darker skin, so part of why it was harder to decide if I wanted this was it seemed like the colors were so similar, and because it wasn't super bright on her, I prefer the brighter looks. Okay, then she also takes that brisk and goes up by the brow bone, whereas with the YouTube, I don't remember it going by the brow bone. I like how pigmented this is. At some point, I was remembering I've got the Huda palette still. I want to try doing these similar looks with those. Something funny with the eyebrow. Then Adriatic, kind of on the outside. I feel like I've been using Adriatic a lot, and I like it a lot. I just don't want to have it get used up before the others. Like Starlit, I've hardly used. But Adriatic, I find to be so special. Not just the shade, but the way it's got that like duochrome situation. I think I've said this, but if this palette goes on sale for Black Friday, pretty sure I'd get another one. I hope they keep it in rotation. Oh, I guess they didn't go all the way out there, but I did. I think they have limoncello on the fingertip. That looks funny. And then limoncello, and then going on the middle. Oh, I forget how brightly these go on. Now, granted, I've got the eyeshadow primer, which could be making things even brighter. I can blend that out after. Bubble is kind of in the crease. Now, I don't know if the video sped up or what. Bubble in the crease. I'm not really seeing it that much. See it on the brush. Maybe this is just to kind of pull things together anyway. It's probably not crucial that this is seen as a separate color. And this is ending up so much brighter. So I don't know. I really like the ones with the purple too, but I also like how blue and yellow is together. In fact, I was just looking at a zoom background that I like that way. Okay, so Bora now, that's the one that it's a brush closer to this. Well, I'm gonna do this because the line ends up small. I kind of feel like an Under the Sea character or something. So it's kind of like here. Usually you don't see the crease on the inside being drawn like that and then just kind of stopping, but we're trying things. Not all these looks are necessarily meant for real life use, and even the ones that are, not everyone would feel comfortable wearing these. I am used to, not lately, but I've spent enough of my life going to the store covered in glitter as a face painter that this is really, but I think when you're covered in glitter, people know like you just came from something. This, people might think, are you just unusual? Now, again, this is almost like as bright as it is in the final photos. All right, brisk again in the inner corner. I wonder if I just close my eyes and then do this. Does that get the top and bottom? I'm not really sure why, when we had brisk going before, why wouldn't it just do it all at once? Or if it was like an afterthought, kind of putting in back some of the dark circles we took away. Adriatic. Well, this is definitely popping on the camera. Bubble outside. Where exactly are they blending? I guess the outer corner. But I thought we already put Adriatic there. Maybe to blend out that purple. This is a lot more colorful than I anticipated. Still getting used to the palette, her formulas. Well, and I'm getting my purple pop that I liked, that I didn't from the YouTube video. But to me, the purple just kind of needs to not be such a sudden stop. Limoncello. Do I need a new brush or can I just wipe this one off? I think it's not picking up as much as I would like. I'm going to go into this one. Maybe it's just not going to show up quite as much, but I still like it. And maybe it's just piling on with all that concealer too. Limoncello is connected. And it's done. And in the final photos, it's bright again, even though during it wasn't quite as much. And as you can see, like now, the eyeliner is not nearly as pronounced as it was. It still makes sense, I think, even more for the top than the bottom. But the bubble, let's see. I feel like the bubble needs to maybe have some connection from the top to the bottom. I don't know. On camera, this looks kind of wonky to me. Like, I like it, kind of. But I think some of the other ones I was able to wear in real life more. Now, they put on a very kind of muted lip, if you will. I haven't decided on lip yet. And the other thing is, I think sometimes when I have the eyebrows done first, it somehow makes the eyeshadow seem less dramatic. So I don't know if I've done them on camera yet. And lately I've been doing the eyebrows and then coming in and doing the eyeshadow. Despite doing a decent amount of the Believe today, I don't really want to do the Believe brows. So I'm going to do the Tarte Busy Gal brows. I don't know if I've done these on camera or not yet, but see how that spoolie is so tiny and different? What I like to do lately is just, first of all, take the tip and start making a wing. And then if I don't have enough, lay it down and make the tail. Same thing on the other side. And I believe this is one of those clay infused ones. So you can tell it's getting on the hair, but it's also, I think, getting on the skin enough. And then what I haven't fully established is how much it's really on the spoolie is left over. And I can also see it collecting up here. So I'm going to take this tiny Believe brush, scoop some of that up to then reinforce the tail. Maybe bring it out a little bit. And then without going back in, I want to just see how much is on here. It's one thing for it to be on the hair. It's another thing for it to get on the skin. And then is there enough for the other side? Because do I mainly want to use this flat side, or can I use the inside at all? I don't want to bend the thing. Oh, I just got a clump. I don't want to bend it and then have it working less well, but can try to use a different angle. I think I'm just going to go for another dipping into it. That definitely got a huge amount of clumping on the end, which I can now attempt to spread out, but I think I would still spoolie it out. But what I like about the tiny spoolie is it really is precise, and I can kind of get up there and make the shape. But taking another spoolie and kind of diffusing, I guess you could say. somehow that to me makes the color brightness just not more justified, but more even or something. And there is one of the looks where they don't even do much with the eyebrows. They're kind of barely visible brows. And it's a pretty significant color statement that just kind of goes into the brows. So I guess the thing is, this look, if I just made this up, I might think, oh, I did it wrong. I didn't do a good job. This isn't great. But seeing Natasha Denona, like this is exactly how she had it in her video. Again, it's like nailed it. Like, I'm not sure how I feel about it, but I feel justified in that's how she had it. So like, it's more okay that I have it this way. It's not too weird. So I guess now it's time for setting spray. Not the matte one. What did I open the other day? Oh, this perfecting setting spray. It feels the correct time for that now. This actually does have a bit of a scent. Maybe a little bit soapy. A lot of other things people have been commenting how they don't have much of a scent. There is some loud vehicle noise around. I didn't find it very powdery before, so I can't quite tell how it feels different now. But mascara time. I've been debating if I want to try a new mascara, but the thing is, I've got, it's like I don't want to open a new one when I've got other ones still very active. Sometimes liking to take rubbing alcohol and wipe down that cushiony pad. Sometimes I'll get 2 eyelash curlers. Ah, that hurt. One on each side. Clumpy, so I'm gonna put it back in, try to pull it out more evenly so that thing inside can equally get the stuff off, but near this side, it's still quite clumpy. And the thing is, with so much at this tip, you really have to be careful you don't end up hitting your nose with it. Got some on the eyelid. Usually wise to let it dry and then get it off with a Q-tip or something. Sometimes you can like scrape it off the back of your nail. I don't know if this is because I wiped it off yesterday, the whole thing on a paper towel, and now it's collected so much more. I feel like the curl, like there's so much mascara, the curl is kind of going away. And I also want to comb out the clumps. Something is just off about this right now. The only thing I can think of is because I had scraped it off yesterday. And it's like you can't help but get it on the bottom lashes whether you want to or not. Yeah, this is, ooh, look at that. Clumpsity. And then I'm wondering, do I even have the comb through lash brush? Well, I guess technically I could use the eyebrow spoolie if I remember very distinctly to wash it off, but I think I see over there an eyelash comb. Well, where the time has gone today, I thought it was earlier. So what concerns me, I think this is Moda. Nope, wait. True Real Techniques. I have punctured my skin on these, and this one doesn't feel nearly as sharp. Maybe it's because the teeth, yes, it does. Yes, it does. I have caused bleeding before. So since this is first time using this one, I'm going to take the rubbing alcohol, and hopefully this will still get through even though it's been drying for a bit. So I'm wiggling it in there and then combing it through. In fact, I might as well just wiggle the whole way so it doesn't get stuck and want to pull out eyelashes. But you want to be so careful because these are sharp pieces of metal near your eye. Make sure you're going up with the eyelashes, not towards the eye. You know, they made these, I think, in a plastic version in the past, so it's not as sharp. Some part of me preferred that. Now, a lot of the clumping is out at this edge. Now, you see how much is taking off of the mascara? Those are the clumps. But to me, this is still looking clumpy. And it feels like the individual lashes are losing some of their volume. Then you got the whole bottom lashes situation. Some of it may have transferred to the skin. With some of those, it's almost like the clumps are remaining. These teeth are pretty tightly together, but something is like letting these clumps remain. So, all right, I just took that off my finger. There was definitely some that came off. I'm gonna wash this off again because maybe leaving the clumps in there is having it still just kind of put them back. I don't know if I need to spray this or wash this, but like, look, a significant amount came off. I'm spraying now right through the teeth. Yeah, there's still some in there. And I'm thinking, is this side even any better than this side? Still have the bottom lashes situation. And some of it is that the mascara just got on the skin. So all you can do is just keep going through it and wiggling. But again, it's taking away some volume. I'm not sure what to make of that. I mean, who's going to, even if I were going somewhere, who's going to be in my face to that level? Now this side is probably mostly dry. So what's going to happen? You know, I'm wiggling it so I can see them really through the combs, but I just keep seeing still clumps. Now it's interesting when you look at like the Notebook movie, it shows her putting mascara on in the way they used to do it back then, which I think they even sell some modern one that's meant to be used like the old style. And I think it made much less of a coating of the lashes. So on the bottom here, my lower lashes almost, I don't know if they're shorter than they used to be, but it's getting, you can feel it tugging more. Like you wiggle it in and you pull it through and it just wants to tug on the lashes. We've definitely collected some more mascara here. And I was pretty careful with the wiping it off the other day. I don't think I got like paper towel lint on the bristles. I was trying to not do that. I think part of the problem is what has transferred to the skin. Or maybe I'm just like more sensitive now to the clumps. And I'm questioning, like, are my lashes the way they've always been? Are they different? I'm usually not examining them to this level. But I feel like in the camera it looks okay. Okay enough to move on anyway. And since I now have this handy paper towel with all the mascara, I'm gonna flip it over and make sure I'm not putting mascara on my lips. But in case I want to do the longer lipstick, actually that would have been better with witch hazel, but look how much foundation came off the lips. I mean, look how red the lips are now. That's my natural color. That gets covered with foundation. Well, let's go for some more of the It's a Girl lip liner from Believe. However, I kind of want to go back into the ColourPop Barbie lipstick that I just pulled out of a corner in my room, because this is kind of pink, bright pink. I feel like the eyes are enough. I don't typically do nude lips, but I want to try it. Got the dream house. I forget how they describe it, but it's matte. It's very close to my lip color. Kind of a rose, mauve, dusky. I don't even know what the difference is between dusty and dusky rose, but I know this has worked out in the past. But I want to try this gel eye situation kind of as a base to make it shinier. And I might even put it over it or a highlighter. But I'm hoping it'll mix in from the bottom. So I've used the more sandy lip liner and then this lipstick. Again, I'm not going anywhere, planning to. So I'm okay with not long wearing right now. But I'm also not used to matte lipsticks. And again, because I'm always like, I feel like the good thing here is it's so, I mean, that does look kind of bright on camera, but in real life, it's pretty close to regular lip color. I'm not in love with everything going on right now, but I feel like it's good enough. But again, I think it's because I'm used to the lighter foundations now. This seems dark to me, but plus we put that dark powder on. So it looks like I've not used this lip liner yet. Oh, maybe I have. But the other one I've used more, that's like the more tannish. I kind of want to get into that lipstick though, once and for all. But what I do recall is when I have used highlighter over this, like I think I used the Color Shock highlighter, which I wasn't really going to get much use out of otherwise. So that color is very similar. Oh, here's my cap to this. I got to keep these together so they don't get separated. So this color, which I feel like I'll get the least use out of, I feel like it's perfect for this. Now the question is, do I want to do it with my finger? Yeah, I think because I've alcoholed on my fingers, I can start with this one. It's going to inevitably pick up lipstick. So I don't want to go back into it with this finger unless I wash it. You know, as we tap it in, it really soaks in. So it's lightening it, but it's picking up the color, but it's not yet shiny. And so now I'm going with a different finger. The good thing is this will help to set it as well. And this will help, you know, get it in. Now I'm going in with a different finger. So keeping this clean. Trying the rubbing in technique this time. Oops. And then last finger, light color, middle highlight. Even though I would love for this to be shimmery, what I do like is it has lightened it a bit. It gives it, I guess you could say, dimension, even if it's not shimmer. There is kind of a highlight in the middle. It feels like I set it. Although I also want to do a lip gloss now, which will probably lift it a bit or make it more liftable. This lip gloss from the day is back on the palette, going into the finger. I feel like we often don't see people do this as much, but there's something to be said for how much it can really spread things out and mush them in. Then again, you may want to do this after to get the part that might end up on your teeth. And yeah, throughout the day, going like that's going to do it again. Less. And so it's going to move some around. Now, speaking of moving around, I feel like these edges have become less defined. And it feels like this is just kind of pushing the gloss around and may not actually stop it. It feels a little bit like once gloss is involved, it's going to go where it wants to. But come on, gloss, like it's like glitter, it's sparkle, but without the glitter, it's shiny, it's fun. I think I've always been a lip gloss kind of person, and shimmer lips is a something that runs in the family kind of thing. And bright colors, that's definitely a me thing. But well, some of the more beloved, those who share DNA, appreciate it, or pastels. So the pastel palette really works, but it just ends up kind of bright. So pretty happy with lips. I would say the lips are a color, again, it looks brighter in the camera, but a color that makes it so it's not like ridiculous clown lips with pretty bright eyeshadow, even though it's pastel. So it's funny how like in life, the hair is mostly up for practicality reasons, but for makeup time, somehow, sometimes the hair being down justifies the face. So there we have it. This is the Natasha Denona look that was found on Instagram, very similar to the one on YouTube. It's just kind of fun to place the color on the lids, see how it turns out, how you like it, which colors you like, how they go together. And there is something to be said for like, I don't know if I could get this look. It would be interesting to try it with, let's say, like the Milani palette, which I was not so thrilled with. I feel like there's a few colors that are similar, but I think what I found there was it felt like they were getting muddied together more. Here, they kind of hold their own, in my opinion. So it would be worth, I think there's something to be said, like knowing it's a more expensive palette, it does something kind of psychologically that makes you think it's better. I mean, people do value more what they, pay for. But it would be interesting to recreate this with like the Milani. In winter, we can have a scarf. Yeah, I would say now it doesn't even seem that pronounced. Like maybe for someone like a newscaster, it would be kind of colorful. For certain people, kind of colorful. But like this background, this brighter one is much more me. Whereas like the other one the other day was muted and it just to me blended in with my skin. But as you can see, my actual background behind here is the same color, bright pink. So it kind of works. So that's more Believe Beauty with darker foundation, trying out the concealer, mixing it somewhat with powders I'm already used to, the Natasha Denona palette, some ColourPop lips with Believe gloss, trying this new fun Tarte brush. I'm not even sure if it's still available. Came with a lip gloss, I think. And the lip gloss is actually made in Korea. And I know Korea is known for skincare. So that was interesting. And this is just very, very soft. And it's just fun. Like, I don't know if this is likely to break. That would be disappointing, but hopefully this bottom part would stay so it could just be like a regular brush at that point. But it's very, very soft. It's fun. It feels like feathers. And I don't know, I wouldn't say it's luxurious, but it's like the fun of, I don't know, the pink. Like there's something to be seen about actually watching it in the mirror or the video. It feels, again, not luxurious in this case, but just fun. Like you're in a cartoon. And with these colors, I would say that's very cartoony. And when you just are a personality that's a cartoon, when you've got a face that's a cartoon, where you've got features that are very cartoonish because they're so large and expressive, sometimes these things work together. I would say the majority of people are more into like neutrals, earthy colors, more subdued ways of being, but some of us are this way. And I've found in certain groups, like let's say neurodivergent artist type groups, they are so into the rainbows and whatnot, and like multiple colors blended in tie-dye, just like me. So even though it may not be the majority, you find your people, you find your tribe, you find who loves what you love and can appreciate the same things, and you don't have to fit yourself into a box that you weren't built for, like the fitting a round something into a square peg. Forget that phrase. Round square peg into a round hole. Either way, I think that's all I can say for now. Oh, and we did that bouncy blush as well, which still I don't find very pronounced, but maybe on the shell color, the lighter foundation would make more sense. So with that, I hope you have a wonderful day. Easter's coming up. Happy spring. Happy Easter. Enjoy your lion's manes if you have them. And why isn't it showing up on the side? May we go in peace, love. May we love one another and pour out love energetically from a distance. May we wish love and peace for the world. May we send energetic love to those who are having a tough time in the world now. May we send peace to Ukraine. May we have peace within ourselves so that we can be an example and lend that energy to the planet. So until next time, thank you for tuning in, and peace be with you.